Okay, so I watched TNA Turning Point 2024, and I just want to talk about it. I'm really sorry about the noise in the background, but I'm going to go anyway. And so, spoiler alert. Now, I'm not going to go through every single match or every single detail of every single match. I just want to tell you how I feel about the match and where I think this is going to lead into them in their storylines. So, let's get into it. So, we start with Cass versus Santana. My prediction, Santana was going to win, right? Now, I'm going to go on a side note. Santana, right? As a wrestling fan that I am, I'm just going to talk about myself. I do research. I read wrestling articles. I see wrestling videos. I watch wrestling reviews. I watch many videos, right? Many wrestling stuff, right? And so I was introduced to Santana in 2020, in AEW. And ever since he's been in TNA, he has been a revelation. And not to say I didn't know he was good. I know he was great, okay? I did my research on this man. I know he was a great, even though he was never showcased that way. But I'm so grateful that I get to see him in TNA and that greatness. I'm not gonna lie. I'm basking in this greatness of his. Okay, that sounded weird. Sorry. But no, he's been really, really great, and I've been really enjoying how he has been presented. That's what I wanted to say. How he has been presented to us in TNA, because it is leading him into a world title. Literally, I think that one day we will see him have that world title, and I feel like I've heard that he had been the champion before in TNA. But I see why. Before I had read why. Now I see why. Okay? Because he's an amazing wrestler, and it sucks that he was barely ever used. I know he got injured and stuff in AEW, but still, look at how good he's doing in TNA. Anyway, moving it along. We had Cass, who's been great in TNA too, but I always knew he was great. I saw him in his earlier careers in TNA. But Cass versus Santana won. Now, I don't mind that he won. Santana's going for that title. He went through the whole system by himself. Okay? Ever since he came to TNA, he said, that title is mine, baby. I just need to get to it. Right? And then you have Cass, and Cass is in the same route as Santana. He's just using different alternative. What did I say? How can I say this? He's just trying to get to that title sneakier than Santana. Santana's like, I'm gonna kick your ass. But then you have Cass over here like, I deserve it, even though he's done nothing. Right? You see two different stories, still going for the title, right? And then Cass just won the Call Your Shot Gauntlet, which I think is great for him because, he's calling himself the king of TNA. Why not? And so we had the match. It was a good match between two good veterans. I really enjoyed this. They are still going for the title, and they have things in common, and so this made sense. Santana winning made sense. Cass can lose all he wants. He has that Call Your Shot. He's going to win the title one day. So, great opener, right? And then we have the Turkey Bowl match, right? And this is Joe Hendry versus Eric Young versus John Skyler versus Brian Myers versus Hammerstone versus Rhino. I already did a whole video on how Brian Myers has been a revelation. I didn't even know he was great until I saw TNA, all right? So I already did a whole video on that man. But anyway, this is a Turkey Bowl match, and I thought it did what it had to do. Joe Hendry was going to win. He's been talking about this match ever since Santana told him he had to get back in the back of the line to get for the title. He said, all right, fine, you want me in the back of that line? I'm going to start at the bottom. This is the bottom. And so he already started talking about this Turkey Bowl match and how he's like, if I have to wear that turkey costume, I'm going to wear that turkey costume. Fun match. All about the holiday, right? All about the holidays. And so everybody played their roles the way they were supposed to, but my prediction was right. Joe Hendry won this match, and Brian Myers ended up being the one pinned. But he played his role perfectly too, because he's in the system. Everybody hates him anyway. And so everybody was beating him up because he did not want to put on that turkey suit, because if you don't put it on, you get fired. And so everybody beat him up and forced him to get into that turkey suit. And so like I said, fun little match. Didn't mind. And Joe Hendry won. So he's going to keep working his way to that title. You see how TNA has more than one person going after these titles? Specifically the top titles in women and men's division. Anyway, I'm not going to talk no more about that. right? But it was it was nice. It was nice. It did what it had to do. Now, we had a Rosemary promo, right? She done lost everybody, so she's lost her mind. Now, I had said before, I had made a prediction. I said that Masha was going to go against Alicia Edwards, Jordan Grace, Steels, and Rosemary. I said we might put Rosemary into that mix because of the way she's been built. Like, Rosemary was a champion. I may not know all about Rosemary, but she's been amazing since I started watching TNA again, okay? And now that she's by herself, I feel like she can bring it. The last time she had a match against Jordan, she had a match for, for the title, or at least for title contention, was against Jordan Grace, and that was in a no contest because what's her face, Ash by Elegance, interfered in it was a great match, by the way. That match was amazing. And so I kind of been seeing Rosemary kind of again in the background, but getting more closer to the forefront, and I saw her coming. So I knew she was going to come after that title. Sorry, just like being right. Who doesn't? But anyway, she did a whole promo about how she going after the title. And then we had Moose versus Laredo Kid. Now, I'm going to say this. I did see the TNA before this one. Well, like 2 weeks before, because they had that special for Thanksgiving. And I had seen Moose and JDC versus Laredo Kid and Slater, right? And Slater and Laredo won that match. And I was like, the hell? Just out of the blue. TNA does random matches sometimes, but I was like against the system. Don't get me wrong, the system has been beat, but not in random ass matches. But anyway, they got beat, and so they went after the Slater and Laredo Kid came after the system with a chair, and that's how we got the X Division match. I didn't know all of this until I saw this match, and I was like, it makes so much sense. Because I had seen, like I said, I watched TNA before, like 2 weeks before this, and I was like, doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. Why would we just have Moose beat? But got it. I got it. Because we needed an X Division match on the pay-per-view. And we got it. And so we had Moose versus Laredo Kid. Now, this match was, like I said, what it was. It was to just have an X Division match. But even though we had that, Laredo Kid still showed out. I knew that Moose was going to win, but Laredo Kid still, he really did. It wasn't until he got caught. Because let me tell you, that guy can fly. He can fly, he can run circles on you. But once you catch him, especially Moose is a beast. He caught him and he got him. And he did 1, 2, 3. He speared him. And he got the win, 1, 2, 3, and he's still X Division champion. But like I said, super random on the TNA Impact, not the special, but like 2 weeks before that special. Super random. Understand now that I see the pay-per-view, why we did that match, right? Super random, but I get it now. Moose wins on his own too, because he does. And then Josh Alexander versus Steve Maclin. Now this one, I didn't know who was gonna win. I didn't have a prediction. Like, I kind of predicted the other matches, but this one was more up in the air for me because it really could be either one. When we were getting into this feud, which I have enjoyed, right? Josh is a heel, Maclin is the face now. And Maclin's always said that Josh is a coward, and he's very upset because Josh has been a complete jerk to him, and he tied him up with zip ties in his match, and so now he's very angry. So the story is that Steve Maclin has been trying to get his hands on Josh Alexander forever. And, he has had a few matches, but Josh has been a complete and total jerk. Like I said, the last time they met, he zip-tied him and Bound for Glory in the middle of a match it was a regular match. But somehow, some way, he got him zip-tied and beat him up, right? And so Steve was trying to get him back. So Steve has been angry. That's been the storyline. Eric Young and some other people have been in here because, of the Northern Armory. But the crux of it is, Steve is angry because Josh is an asshole. Okay? And so it's a no DQ match, which is appropriate because these guys have that kind of feud, right? Now, this was a normal TNA no DQ match, The only thing is, I'm going to have to do a part 2. I'll continue this, okay? But I'll talk about it in the part 2.